What is My Nintendo? Watch this video to find out every detail on Nintendo's new user service launching in March. So every year, around about this time of year, all of the games companies, and I think various other companies as well, start publishing their financial results. Of course, Nintendo, being one of the biggest companies in the public eye in the games industry, is obviously going to have one of these events, and they make a big deal out of it. And so, of course, me and other news people and fans like me also will make a big deal out of it because they have some pretty juicy stuff in it. So anyway, all that is to preface the fact that one of the things revealed was a lot more details about My Nintendo. So I'm here to summarize everything that we previously knew, but mostly everything that we know from this, to give you a good idea of what to expect in March. Now, before you watch this, there is mention of Miitomo. If you don't know about that, I have a video on my channel about Miitomo. You can just search Miitomo in the search bar in my channel, and I'll also have an upcoming video about the new details from this presentation about Miitomo, so you might want to watch those before you start this. Alright, assuming you've watched those or haven't, who cares? Let's get started. My Nintendo is a service that was introduced, the precursor to this service called Nintendo Account was introduced in Japan some amount of months ago, and people could sign up for that and get these just for you offers, they were called, and various recommendations of games, and for example, just for you offer would be like your birthday. They give you a free downloadable game. I don't know, they give you some sort of offer, or say you played 8 hours on Mario Kart 8, they're like, hey, have the DLC half off because you haven't bought the DLC. Stuff like that. It's a pretty cool idea. Anyway, that is one of the things that My Nintendo will have, but My Nintendo is not launched yet. So what we found out in this investors meeting yesterday, I don't know when it happened, is that it's going to launch in March, and here's what it's like. So Club Nintendo was the previous service, which was just your traditional loyalty program. You buy the product, you enter the code, you answer the survey, and you get points. And a lot of companies did this. But My Nintendo is supposed to be this interactive, comprehensive sort of experience in its own. Like Club Nintendo, that was horrible. You go on and like you're happy to get the gifts, but the actual experience of Club Nintendo was horrible. Like the amount of times I had codes sitting there on my desk for maybe even years at a time because I'm like, I don't want to go on Club Nintendo again. It's ridiculous. So this is a completely different approach to it, where it's supposed to be fun and like I don't know, variable. That is not the correct word, but lots of different stuff rather than just this one thing. Anyway, that is coming in March or later. It's not out yet. We'll get to the release date stuff later. So one of the main things that you can do that you could already do on Nintendo Account in Japan, and you will be able to do in March, is purchase games through your mobile device or your computer, I'm assuming, because it's just going to be a website, which is pretty awesome for people who like to do that. I guess if you really want to pre-order a digital game, or I don't know. I don't really see much merit in it. What I do see merit in is having the eShop up there with all the prices so you can at least browse it. That's kind of the big deal for me because I don't spend much time browsing the eShop. But Steam, for example, I'm constantly on Steam looking at offers. Even if I'm not in the market for a PC game, it boots up when I boot up my computer. It shows me sales when I exit the game. I'm like, I'm going to look at Steam. So I think that's a good addition. It'll have people thinking about Nintendo games a lot more and browsing through it and stuff. But yeah, you can also, once you do that, it'll automatically download onto your 3DS or Wii U. Obviously, your 3DS is going to need to be on and connected to the internet and in sleep mode, so I don't know how automatic that's quite going to be. So there are going to be two different types of rewards you can get for playing games, owning games, or buying games, and probably other stuff as well. And those are going to be gold points and platinum points. So first off, gold points are coupons. You can use them to redeem discounts on games, maybe even buy a full game if you get enough. It's not very clear at this time, but they're for buying software. And platinum coins, on the other hand, are more like the traditional Club Nintendo stars. They are for buying like physical things eventually, I'm pretty sure. And they are for buying digital things like wallpapers and costumes for your Miis. Actually, I have no clue what that is signifying. I think that's talking about Miitomo. But yeah, digital things like your backgrounds and stuff, and also probably mini DLCs like costumes in Miitomo, costumes in Smash Bros. Even. So add on content rather than a discount to like an actual game. But there's obviously going to be a pretty big distinction because they have completely different names, and we don't know yet if there's going to be different ways to earn each, or if buying a game, say, gets you 1 platinum coin and 2 gold coins, etc. Who knows? That is one detail we don't know yet. So the services going to offer are a point program, like I just talked about. Just for you offer discounts, like I talked about at the start. Recommended for you stuff, briefly said about that. So it would just show up recommendations based on what you've been playing, because it's going to have access to the data on your Wii U and 3DS and obviously NX later on. And of course, download the games, as I had already said. Now, what's going to come later is managing friend relationships, which is a strange way to put friends list management, basically. Hopefully that also means a sort of chat function, so you can have your friends list, you can have chatting with people, Miiverse integration, etc., etc. So just a sort of social aspect rather than just delete this guy, add this guy. That's not very fun. It's also going to coordinate cloud data. It's a very broad term they're using here. The main thing it's talking about is being able to re-download your games from one 3DS to a new one, or one Wii U to another one, without having to transfer the system over. So you're going to have your data in the cloud rather than actually on these devices, which can get lost and literally lose all your download games just because you lost it. That's not fair. So that's a big thing. And there's also other implications of cloud data, but it could be anything. Perks at retail stores, etc. So sort of the same thing as that coupon for software, but coupon for hardware. They could also do promotions with retail stores, like for example Game in the UK does a lot of giving away special event Pokemon, so they could be like in with that rather than just you go to Game and you do this weird thing, you connect your 3D, rather you bring your phone to Game, go to the My Nintendo website, and you get the code for the Pokemon, etc. So just easier integration with retails, which would of course make more things start to happen. So there's also a list here of the 39 countries that not Miitomo, My Nintendo is going to start in. You could read them for yourself. Notably, of course, is the UK, the US, and Japan. Lots of Europe, but not all of it. Australia, and some other places. Sorry if I didn't mention your country. You could read it. But it's a pretty wide release, and we'll see the actual release dates in a second. We'll get to that, don't worry. But they're all pretty close, so it's a very impressive worldwide release thing, and I think they're really going for a big deal here. It's not some quirky Japanese thing that only core Nintendo fans in America and UK are going to like or something. It's a big deal, and we'll see if it works very soon. So make sure you check your country on that. And it does say at the start, so don't worry too much. Most likely Nintendo will roll out this service to the entire world eventually, or at least most of it, and you will be able to go and do that. Probably you can change your IP address or something if you really want to. So Nintendo has been talking about the sort of numbers they're looking at. Their first goal is 100 million users. That is not to say they want 100 million users on day one or in March. They're saying that's their first milestone, that's what they're aiming for. And the way they're going to do this is releasing Miitomo, which will have, obviously you log in with your My Nintendo account, or you don't. It's supposed to be encouraged, but not forced, because then there would be less people who would get the app in the first place. But they're also going to just keep supporting this with the second app, third app, fourth app, etc., and those will all encourage you to make your Nintendo accounts. This is to grab in all of those users who are not Nintendo fans, or maybe they are Nintendo fans, but they don't own Nintendo consoles, or they've given up their Nintendo consoles and everybody's on their mobile. So these people will download these apps and they'll see a Nintendo account. Maybe their My Nintendo account will get you a bonus in Miitomo, say, and that'll make them get that, and then they'll realize, ooh, I got a discount on buying a 3DS bundle, and so they go out and buy a 3DS bundle. Very, very clever. Anyway, so they're hoping this will just keep on going up. They got some real stuff behind this, rather than, I'm trying to think of an equivalent where they just released a service. I guess Miiverse. Miiverse is kind of a service they released. They put it on mobile and they were like, get it, do it if you want. Do it if you want, but we're not going to encourage you. You know, this is different. They're making a real effort here, and I think they're trying to make a whole nother section of the Nintendo business, which is mobile, and will probably make them a lot of money, which is good because that means they can develop more games for the good platforms. It's true. It seems like, oh, but mobile will take away from the real stuff. No, actually, the richer Nintendo is, the more and better development teams they can buy in, the more they can develop first-party games faster and better. Anyway, that is the strategy there. So, on to the final, most important thing, the release date, start schedule type of thing. So first up, it's going to be on the App Store and on Google Play. Sorry, Windows Phone users, but nothing's on Windows Phone. Generally speaking, everybody's got an Apple or Google phone, so you'll be good. On February the 17th, you can pre-register for Miitomo. I'll talk more about that in a separate video, which you can see on my channel right now, or maybe an hour after this one is uploaded. I'm sure most of you will be watching this as it's up. And with that, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a connection to My Nintendo, and you can sort of pre-register for My Nintendo at the same time. I don't know, but I'm very excited to see what that has to offer. There's probably not much there, but I'm easily excited by just something that says, Nintendo, new, something. I'm like, sign me up. Pre-order this free product that probably has an unlimited amount of copies. I don't really quite understand what that means, but I think a lot of it is just to gauge the interest in My Nintendo before it launches. So anyway, in mid-March, which implies that in March is going to be late March, Miitomo is going to actually release, and the people who have pre-registered will have that automatically downloaded to their device, and My Nintendo will also start at the exact same time. But this is only in Japan. A little bit later, Miitomo, again, will release for Europe and North America and all the rest of those peoples, and the My Nintendo service will start also. So there's a clear link between Miitomo and My Nintendo. Again, I'll talk more about that in my other video. So, I think that's it. That's it. Whew, I talked a lot there. So, My Nintendo is going to be a service with all tons of awesome things to offer. It's going to be out in late March for us. You could probably pre-register on the 17th of February. It's going to be totally different from Club Nintendo, and it's going to be awesome. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, and of course subscribe to Everything Amiibo for more My Nintendo and for more Nintendo toys and games. I'll see you guys later.